We kicked off with Conflict Axiom, which consisted of James Marshall, Blake Curtis, and a man we know very well in the Reverend Chris Law, facing off against Standardized Paradox, which consisted of three very well-known men by the name of Inmate 211, Jackson Shepherd, and the APW Breakout Champion, Josh Redfield.
Now, Pete, you haven't seen these fellas before, so I'm going to ask you to comment first, because some of these guys I know.
Well, right. Josh Redfield I've seen before, although, and this is probably not a great thing to say, I didn't actually recognise him till later on. he looks different from the last time I saw him. I thought a couple of things, as I said to you when we were sitting there, I thought it was interesting they opened the show with a six-man tag. You very rarely see that on the local scene.
Well, it's starting to happen more now. Like, you're starting to see that more on televised events now, and AEW will have, like, sometimes three of those shows, three of those kind of matches, gimmick matches. So it's starting to become more relevant through the...
But it was a good match. It was a good pace. It was interesting. I like the fact they used holds, and it wasn't just all high spot. Like, there was some proper wrestling moves. Now, what was the gentleman, Chris?
Chris Law.
Chris Law.
Reverend Chris Law.
Yeah, very, very good. Obviously, an accomplished worker. Looked like he was sort of probably calling the shots, but I liked him. I thought he was really good, very professional, knew what he was doing. But all the boys did well. Like, there was no, for lack of a better expression, there was no weak link in the armour anyway.
No, I agree. I thought it was good. The two young guys that are currently with Chris in the group Conflict Axiom, you see they're green, but they're capable. And I think, associating with Chris, they'll only get good fast. That for me, Chris Law, right, is probably the most underestimated wrestler of his generation. He, for me, is probably one of the best of his generation, but he never got that recognition. And I think it's something that's, why that is, because he doesn't blow his own trumpet too much. He just goes in there, does the job, and gets it done. And he's always been good. From when I seen him 13, 14 years ago, right, and I worked with him at Alpha, and I worked with him at NAW, he's always been, one of the best guys on the roster, if not the best guy on the roster for ability. Some of the matches he had with Navarra back in the day, I actually, still stand up today. Inmate 211, Jackson Shepherd, I've known since he was a rookie back at Alpha, and I know Josh Redfield from back when he was a rookie at Alpha, and I sort of missed the rookie side of things with Inmate 221, but they're all good workers, and the match was solid. Well, it was a good start. It was a good opener.
They got the crowd up, didn't it?
Got the crowd up.
Involved, yeah.
If I'm going to be technically critical on some of the things from the faces side of the ring, maybe get more involved to drag the ref in.
Yes.
So it allows the heels to create heat on one guy in there. They stood there sometimes flat-footed at the edge of the ring. And the second thing, maybe just be a little bit tighter with your shots. Like there was too much gap with the striking. But I enjoy the match, and that's from a technical point of view. But as a fan sitting in the front row, I loved it. I had a good time. I was watching it, and I enjoyed it.
I think also if the heels had maybe sort of cut the ring in half a little bit and worked one of the faces more over in their corner a bit.
Yeah. And just created a bit more heat and got that hot tag going.
The hot tag, and then someone like maybe Chris comes in and sort of really goes to town and cleans up because he'd have the capacity to do that. But look, all in all, great opening to a card.
Well, I was really, really happy with the match that I watched, and I sat there and thoroughly enjoyed it. My job is on the technical side of things is to look at these things as part of this show.
Yeah, cool.
But there wasn't too much in there. I was being real picky with what I come up with.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the match. And if I was going to rate it, I'd probably rate it 6. I was happy with that, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it 6.5, but yeah.
What did you go, Anthony?
I gave it a 6. I thought it was real well done. Like, especially like, I can't remember the last time I saw Chris Law, but he looks like he has lost a step.
He's like fine wine, that dude. He just gets better with age. I'm jealous. I really am. He just gets better with age. It's like ridiculous, you know. And the two young fellas he's got are not small kids.
No,
These are good sized boys. You wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alley, you know. So if they learn from him, which all they got to do is be quiet, and Chris will teach them, right? You got the next generation of really strong heels or really strong workers that will develop through, because both those guys, especially the guy, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get this wrong. I think it was Blake Curtis is the larger fella that's got the beard. Is that right, Anthony?
I mean, they both had beards, didn't they?
No. One was clean shaven, one had a beard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Blake
And
Curtis, yeah.
that fella looks like, you know, a throwback from one of the Anderson brothers. I swear he does. He looks like one of the Andersons. So I liked him straight away, because anyone that looks like that looks like one of the Andersons already got my respect.
Mm-hmm.
Say Ollie or his brother, or even Arn. So yeah, there's a lot of good things, a lot of upside to that match and to the people that are in that match.
Very good.